Senator Richard Blumenthal is with us. He is a U.S. Senator from Connecticut. Do I have it right?
Absolutely.
And let's see here, blumenthal.senate.gov, of course, your website. You, sir, I understand, are introducing legislation to have not only background checks, but something to do with ammunition. Can you tell us about that?
Exactly right. I've supported Senator Feinstein's bill to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, and have helped to lead the effort in that area, but also better background checks for firearms. As you know, it's against the law for felons, fugitives, the dangerously mentally ill, as well as domestic abusers, to buy both firearms and ammunition.
Right.
And there are background checks for 60%. There should be universal background checks for firearm purchases, but none whatsoever for ammunition. So
Yeah.
I propose that we have basic background checks as a simple, common sense law enforcement tool, so we keep ammunition out of the hands of people like the shooter in Newtown,
Yeah.
who massacred 26 wonderful people.
Yeah, you know, the old, it used to be guns kill people, and then the NRA said, no, guns don't kill people, people kill people. But the truth is, ammunition kills people.
Bullets kill
Yeah,
people.
bullets
At the
kill
end of the
people.
day, you
Yeah.
can't kill someone without bullets and ammunition. And this idea came to me from the people who know most about this subject, in my view, which is the law enforcement community. The police and prosecutors have said to me, you know, all this other stuff's fine, but at the end of the day, bullets are what kill people. And that's why we need background checks on the massive purchases of ammunition that go on day in and day out. You know,
And stop the sales on the internet.
You're a convicted felon. You're a fugitive. You're
I am none of the above.
a domestic abuser.
For the record.
Not you personally, but if you were, you could walk into a Walmart. Not to pick on Walmart. It's been responsible.
Well, they're the largest seller of guns and ammunition in the country.
Buy a shopping cart full of ammunition, literally, pay for it, walk out, no questions asked.
Yeah. And there's something fundamentally wrong with that. I remember some years back, it seems like it was in the last decade and a half or so, when the cop killer bullets were quite the rage, and there was legislation to try to stop they called them cop killer bullets. They were basically bullets that could, two types. One that could penetrate a bulletproof vest, and the second that basically exploded once they get inside the body, the hollow points, and distribute the force over a wider area. So rather than just injuring a muscle, they'll just kill a body. And my recollection is that both those kinds of ammunition are still available, and by virtue of the good services of the National Rifle Association. Am I right about that? And if so, what possible rationale would they have for wanting cop killer bullets when we don't use those? I'm a sports shooter. I don't need a cop killer bullet to put, to put a bullet through a piece of paper that's a 1/16 of an inch thick or less. I have friends who are hunters. You don't use cop killer bullets to take down a deer or a pheasant. And frankly, I think if somebody was breaking into my house, I'd rather hit them with a shotgun with birdshot, which would disable them. But if I'm a not particularly good shot, I'd have a much higher probability of hitting them than try and hit them with a bullet, which could miss them by a few inches, and now they're still coming at me. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, on the cop killer bullets, my bill would actually ban Teflon-tipped bullets and incendiary bullets, which in effect explode on impact. The Teflon bullets go through armor. So both are designed to disable the armor that police wear.
Right.
And by the way, as a footnote here, I spoke to our state police right after the Newtown killing, and they told me that their armor could not stop the assault weapon used by the killer there.
Yeah, not much could. I mean, these are battlefield weapons.
But here we're talking about bullets that are designed especially to pierce that armor, and that's why my bill would ban them.
Right.
The reason they're not banned now is very simply that the law that contained the present provisions was incomplete and defective, and we need to update it.
Right.
But I would also say about those ammunition purchases that this bill would apply to all ammunition purchases as long as you're a sports shooter, if you have a pistol permit or a hunting license, background check has already been done on you.
Right.
And if you present that,
buy your ammunition.
you can buy the ammunition. And if there has to be a check, it's less than 30 seconds to do the check. It's called an instant background check for a reason. It goes to the National Criminal Background Check System, NICS as it's called, instantaneously, electronically. It's less than 30 seconds.
Well, it's like the checks they do before you get in an airplane. It's yes, no.
Even quicker.
You don't even need all that data. It's basically yes, no. I'm curious. In his testimony before Congress yesterday, or perhaps it was the day before, Wayne LaPierre essentially said that, and echoed the sentiments that I've had a number of people come on this program and share, that even though all the evidence contradicts it, I've actually read the debates on the Second Amendment, I've read the Federalist Papers, and I've read the Virginia Ratifying Convention, which is where Mason and Madison and Patrick Henry had the largest and loudest disagreement about the Second Amendment. Nobody ever mentioned taking down the government of the United States. Ever. I can tell you that with absolute assurance, and they will never be able to quote that. If anything, they were looking at protecting this country they had just created, not even imagining that they would someday take it down. But Wayne LaPierre's position is that someday the government may become so tyrannical that we have to start shooting at senators, congressmen, police officers, firefighters, our government. We the people. This insane notion that we the people, we create this government, and then somehow it becomes so crazy that we have to kill it. Where's this virus coming from? What are your thoughts on that? Because if you actually hold to that logic, then cop killer bullets actually makes sense, because someday the cops are going to come and get you. I mean, I get it. It's the David Koresh Waco logic, but there's a lot of people who think this way.
I might be able to give you a better informed answer if I were a psychiatrist or, if my degree were other than a Juris Doctor, a lawyer. But I see it as, in a certain way, an extension of almost maybe a paranoid thread in American culture or in the American populace. Maybe it's always been there. You can go back in history and probably identify the strains of somewhat delusional.
Well, it pops up every now and then in things like the KKK.
Yeah, but it has been discredited. It's not the basis for the Second Amendment right that I respect, which is people have an individual right to possess a firearm. The Supreme Court has said it.
Right.
You, as a recreational shooter, and now I'm saying you personally,
because I am.
You in the abstract, exactly. But anybody listening who enjoys target shooting, hunting, there's a right for you to have a firearm. That right is not absolute. No right is. First Amendment is not absolute.
Can't yell fire in a crowded theater.
All of it's subject to reasonable accommodation. I hate using the word regulation, but reasonable restriction.
Well, the word regulation only occurs in the Bill of Rights or in any of the amendments in the Second Amendment. So I think it's an appropriate word.
Often the amendments come up against each other. The great tensions and the great genius of our Constitution is that it makes allowances for these potential frictions between rights that are in the abstract, the Second, the First, the 10th, and also rights of individuals.
And the practical realities of life.
But the point here is there is a Second Amendment right. I don't view it as a right to take shots at police. And neither, by the way, does Chief Johnson of Baltimore, who was there yesterday and who had no use for that.
Hang on just a second.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Visit ThomHartmann.com for audio and video archives.
Senator Richard Blumenthal with us, United States Senator from Connecticut, blumenthal.senate.gov. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us.
Thank you.
Great having you.